everything rolling. Just so you know. Go ahead. What you say?
No. No, but what I was saying is, I remember when you came up to me and you were like, "Dude, I done been around you so long that I know what you're saying now."
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I could figure out what you were saying, but like I said, I couldn't say it. I'm a slower talker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My wife hates it, dog. Like, she tries to like finish my sentences and stuff because she's like, just spit it out.
Today, Junior.
Yeah, because I'm always just like, yeah. So I went to work today and we were talking about this thing, and she's like, and I'm like, I think my problem is that like, I want what I say to like have the right effect, or depending on what I'm talking about, but I'm always like careful with my words, I guess, and it kind of like I'm always stalling. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
you know who's really like that, or used to be like that? Aaron.
Yeah,
dog. You got to be around him for at least 6 months to understand his native tongue.
Gibberish.
Of gibberish. Especially when he gets mad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he be speaking in tongues.
And then you meet his grandma and wonder why he talks like that. Grandma talks like that, but more potent.
Yeah.
more potent.
That's Mimi, Raven's mom. She got all these like sayings that you're just like, what did you say?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
What she had going on there, like trichology or some shit?
Tricknology.
I'm from the streets, motherfucker.
Yeah, she had a dude that was on here the last pod. Asen, shout out Asen, but after the pod we walked downstairs and Mimi was out there and was like talking about tricknology this, tricknology that, and dude was, I think he said he's naming his next album Tricknology. Like, they try to trick me out the streets.
Yo, we gotta introduce this guest, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna front. This one's big.
OG, man.
This one's big for us, man. Yeah. This is a big one for me.
I mean, we don't need no introduction.
That's right. But let's do it right. This is somebody that I've had a high respect for a very long time. Since we met this dude, I've always held him in such high regard and just thought he had the vision. He had the talent. He just had what it took, man. It was just, it's just good to have somebody here tonight that means that much to us. To us specifically.
Oh, 100%, dude.
To us specifically.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Che in the building.
Thank you, man.
It's El Capo. It's the king of the Ville.
Thank you, man.
Teflon
Don. What's up, man?
The artist formerly known as. But
AKA, we know.
Right. But hey,
good, man.
All of them.
We've had some good times, man. We've had some deep conversations. We've had some bad times. I mean, we've it's just been through it, man. He's just one of those people that believed in us in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, he's been through the thick of the thin with it, you know. It's funny you brought up Waylon a minute ago because like I remember like after Waylon passed, you know, got murdered, all that, but the first thing I thought was like, yo, this is like, and I put out a thing on him, you know what I'm saying? It was like, you were one of the first people to believe in me and one of the last people to still believe in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were one of the first ones around, and after everybody else quit believing in me, you still was like believing in me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was at my lowest point in artistry, music, all that, like Waylon was still the dude buying my tapes, telling me how great they were. You know what I'm saying? And like there's people that like you're saying that are in that category. Like Don is literally the first person to like believe in our music. You know what I'm saying? Like I do this podcast now, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like you, dog. Like, after the pod's done, I gotta mix the vocals. I gotta edit the video. I gotta put out the reels. I gotta like do all that. And I'm like, this is when you believe in something. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And like you was always like that, dog.
You
like,
carry so much of the load, not just like of the music production, like doing your part on the song, the verse or whatever. You carried like the production of it, the mixing of it, the networking to get us beats and shit. Like
dragging you in the studio.
I ain't seen you in 2.5 weeks, bro. Where's the verse? It's ready, dog. It's ready.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a lot of work, man, and that's why we have over 1,000 songs out there. That's why we have, 13, 14 albums with a double disc. That's why we have things that we can look back on and see how established that we were. But It's like every good thing, man. You don't realize how much you had until you're looking back on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you realize, dang, man, if I'd have known now what we, back then, it would have been a lot different.
I think if we would have had the tools now that we had back then, that we didn't have back then, we'd be, like we had TikTok back. We was talking about this earlier. If we had TikTok back then, if we'd have had. I mean, MySpace was that was our era.
Yeah,
was the MySpace thing. And
you remember when we did music videos the first time around here?
Oh, dude,
that was like state of the art back then.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Nobody had it around here.
Look at it now, though.
Yeah,
different conversation. But, now,
but
like back then, back
then. But back then, like Nick had come through with the camera, and like that was like state of the art. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, like nobody was really putting. We talked about this on the last pod too, just about being prepared and like it's different. Like we took it serious. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really what set us apart. And
until we got big.
Yeah, but you're right.
Until we got big, and then a lot of us.
Well, what's funny is that's what I'm saying. Is like we took it serious, more serious than everyone around here, but not as serious as we needed to. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely.
We were good enough to be the best around here because that's a pretty low. That's pretty low bar. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a hate on anybody from South Carolina, but it's different than like if you're in New York and like the bar is Jay-Z and Nas and like these huge artists. Like the bar here is not that high, so like if you're bubbling right underneath that bar, you don't think you got to be any better or do any more because you're like, who's better than me in Charleston? Nobody. Oh well, I don't have to do anymore. And that's kind of how the mentality we took at some points in our careers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, we're the best. Like, you're the best in Charleston.
I think that's like the David Ruffin syndrome. Where you're like, I gotta practice.
Nah,
I ain't gotta do this. All I gotta do is show up. I got it.
Yeah.
It definitely happened to us because we were buzzing.
It definitely did. A mixture of that and a mixture of too much.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we found ourselves, definitely, that we would put out an album and then we'd have another one on deck ready to put out 3 months later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we wouldn't really ride on the fame of a certain song like Lights Out. You know what I mean? Like yours, Getting Mine. Mm-hmm. That was a sick track. We did nothing with it.
Or is that conflict, the video, the song?
Yeah.
Like we should have pushed that as a single, you know.
Yeah. But, you know who told us to do that? William Lawson.
I'm sure. I mean,
Lawson was a good manager.
Yeah,
I believe.
He had. We just. I wish that would have stayed alive.
It's hard when you got like 6 people and all those egos and like.
I wish we'd have kept that alive because he had the right mentality. We talked about him on the podcast before, and I remember the first time we met him, he was like, "Y'all need to know something right now. Y'all ain't shit. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows y'all. Mm-hmm. If you get dropped off in the middle of Vermont, nobody knows y'all.
Right.
So you need to know where you are. Let's get our bearings about us and let's go."
I don't even remember why he left.
He just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Because he had us popping, dog. I mean, he had us, like, making moves.
I remember seeing him the last time I seen him, he came to our show, and he was in the back. And we were on stage, and I seen him. And he sat there, he watched probably about a song, and then he left.
Oh, bro, that was just me and you.
In North Charleston.
Yeah. It was just me and you, and we did that. It was a vibe beat. I remember that. It was one of my solo songs, but we did, like, a song with me and you, one of my solos and one of your solos or something. But I remember that I dropped the mic.
Yeah.
And because Lawson was in the back watching us, it was packed. And he was in the very back. And, like, it was just me and Don. And, like, it's the first time we seen Lawson since he had, like, quit working with us. And we murdered, dog. And then I literally dropped the mic like that. And it was like, doom, bring. We walked off. It was like a drop the mic moment. It was dope. And then he left before he didn't even want to talk to us. But I think what happened with him was, well, first of all, it almost got deaded instantly because when we met him, Kenny started dissing. He started dissing like some Charleston artists. And Lawson took offense to it because it was like, you don't know, we're just meeting. You don't know if that could be my cousin. That could be this or whatever. Right. He dropped a lot of game on us, and he didn't have to. But then I remember, too, we went to, I've talked about this before, but when we went to the Dreams and we did the
I wasn't
Rap
there for that
Idol.
one. I wasn't
Yeah,
there.
you were.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
When we did Rap Idol because we did Lights Out. Remember, we won up in Columbia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Lawson was managing us then. He even drove some of us there.
Yeah.
And that was one of the last times he messed with us because I remember, I think it was Buck If You Bout It was the song that like everyone had decided we were going to do.
Right.
And I was like, nah, Lights Out's the song. Like,
Right.
that's the song. Like, we got to do Lights Out. And everybody was like, nah. And I got upset and left and walked out.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. And I had to come get you.
Yeah, you
I
came
had
and
to
got
come
me
get you,
and was
yeah.
like, bro, like, come on, dude. Like, because I like I said on the pod before, I was like, I was putting in all this work. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you were saying.
And really working for it. And then we're going to perform. Because what it was, we were doing like 2 songs and neither one had me. It was,
Come on, buddy.
It was Juice, Schizo.
He's a lot more humble right now in this story. That he was upset, super upset.
Yeah.
And he was like, dog, these other dudes are not in this studio. They ain't putting in this work.
Yeah.
They ain't doing none of that. And then when it's time to show off, these boys are up front.
Yeah. That,
What's going on with
100%.
that? You know what I mean? I was like, dude, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I completely agree. So
But I
come
think
on,
that
it's your time to shine. You know what I mean? He was like,
Yeah.
all right, man.
Well,
No, hold up. What happened was,
This guy.
what happened was,
This guy.
we decided on Buck If You Bout It as a group.
Right.
We was like, for the environment that we were in, the atmosphere we were in, we were like, right now, the energy in here needs that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So
I
at the
remember
time, that's what it was, and I could understand
yeah.
your stance on it.
No, I was wrong. I'm not.
No.
Like,
You were, but you weren't.
Yeah,
Because
I
you
don't-
were,
I don't
but you
think
were
you
because
were wrong. I don't think
I
you were.
wasn't
You were,
wrong,
but
but
you weren't.
what the outcome,
worked
I
out.
was wrong.
Either
way, we would have been fine.
But for the fans,
But it worked out perfectly.
this is what happened. We decided on Buck If You Bout It, and that was the only song that we was going to do. And the song Buck If You Bout It is just me and Teflon, right?
Yeah.
So we played the song, and we got a great reaction from it.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
won. Basically.
We kind of won.
Basically,
we kind of
yeah.
won. We've talked. I think we talked about this this particular situation on the podcast before. We won. We won.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to give it to us.
Not at all.
So then there was like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, we can't just give it to the white boys. You know what I mean? This dude is cop. He's just signed a Grand Hustle. We can't. And then I think it was you that was like, let's battle.
Yeah.
Let's do a rap off.
Yeah.
Or somebody was like, let's do
No,
a
I
rap
remember.
off.
Yeah.
And then there was like, all right, cool. Flip the coin. And then we had to pick a song. And then we was like, yo, now it's lights out.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have happened that way
No, that's what I'm saying.
if
It wouldn't have worked
if
out
Buck
the
If
way
You
it
Bout
did.
It wouldn't have been the song that it was.
Because we went
wouldn't have
on
got
with
there.
Lights Out and
smashed it.
everyone
And
left.
smash it, yeah.
Everyone
the
that
people
he
that
was
were
with, he
supposed
dropped
to-
his mic and left.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
homeboy.
Yeah.
Left
And
and
then
dropped
I
his
think
mic.
they still didn't give it to us.
They
No,
did.
we
They
did.
did?
Yeah. They didn't like it.
But they jerked us in the end because we were supposed to come back and do a live performance. You don't remember that? We
Yeah, I
showed
do.
up for the live performance and there was like a birthday party and like it was a big argument. So it ended up being dope because they filmed us performing through this birthday party.
Right.
But the people in the birthday party were super mad that we were performing because they came there to listen to, Laffy Taffy and stuff like that was popping at the time. But it made our video look dope because the songs we performed were like all of our songs back then, super aggressive. So it was like people in the crowd, me mugging us. But then they didn't give us, like, you can't even find that footage. That's what I mean. They jerked us because we were supposed to get that live performance video, which they posted it, but they never gave us the footage. And then we were supposed to get like record 2 or 3 songs in a studio, music, like those type of things. And out of all the ones they did, you can find the winners after and before, but you can't find us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it is what it is. We dealt with that the whole career.
yeah, for sure.
The whole career. It didn't
Yeah.
matter where we were. If we were down here, we were getting mugged. If we went up there, we get a little less mugged. But after the end of the session, we were getting mugged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was good times. A lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of hours. A
Lots
lot
of
of
work.
life. A lot of going to a show. This is one thing I hated about it. Going to a show, not getting home till like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, being totally messed up, and then having to go to work the next day. Oh gosh, that
Yeah.
sucked.
One
One of
I
the
hated
scariest
that, man.
moments of my life
Yeah.
was whenever we went to Atlanta. Me, you,
Yeah.
and D Forte.
Yeah.
We was in Stone Mountain, right outside of Atlanta. And everybody's boss was like, no, you got to be at work tomorrow.
Right.
Like all of our jobs. So we was like, fuck, man. We left the club at like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like a 4.5, 5 hour ride back from Atlanta. Everybody's drunk except me.
Yeah.
So then like, yo, it's on you, Bo. Take us to the crib. Y'all two in the back sleep.
Oh, and you were flying.
Dog, I've never driven so fast in my life, dude. And it was Daniel's car.
Yeah.
It wasn't even my car. It was Daniel's. He just bought. He ain't made a payment on it yet. And he just kept.
Bro, you were driving? I thought Daniel was driving.
No, I drove the
Oh,
whole
he
way
was
home,
flying.
dude.
He was flying, dude.
Dude, every time I looked up at Daniel, he's like, hey.
The best part of that story is not even that, though.
It's the Crystal Burger.
Oh, my
the Krusty
God,
Burger?
dog, yes.
Yeah, we laughed a lot, man.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
When we pulled up to the window, and Dawn's, like, slapping me on the chest like you would always do, like, hitting me so hard. I'm like, quit hitting me so hard. You're like, tell him I want a Krusty Burger. Like, no, this ain't the Simpsons, cuz. He's like, and he's falling out the side of the car. Dog, that's
I drove
too much,
120
man.
miles an
Yeah, you
hour.
were running, dog. Running.
120 miles an hour.
We made so many trips. Like, that's what I was telling somebody. Like, we were back when, like, remember when the Garmin first hit?
The what?
Yeah.
The TomTom. That's
Nobody,
what it was.
very few people had
yeah.
TomTom. We
Yeah,
had
yeah.
the little TomTom. Because before, like, we've been doing music so long, we was doing
Printing out
MapQuest.
The
MapQuest.
MapQuest. Yeah, the MapQuest. Yeah,
Printing
yeah.
MapQuest to get
Don's up front, like, turn right in the
Yeah.
mile. I'm like, dog, we'll count it out, man.
Yeah, we were young, man. I mean, we were super young, dude. And man, so many mistakes. And part of that, we were just having a good time, man. Because, like I said, I don't think we realized how influential we were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It got influential. You remember? You remember when we put out? Wow, what CD was that? I think it was Creekside Chronicles. And I decided to put the Goose Creek Goose on the CD, and then got a letter from the county saying cease and desist.
Dude, my grandfather at the time was a councilman. And he was like, can't do that. And I was like, come on, man.
Well,
He was
we
like,
had that, and then we
can't do
also
that.
had them reach out to us, or somebody got arrested or something, and they were saying that they had us in the gang unit, classified as a gang, and all this shit.
Yeah, that had to do with Bam Bam and stuff.
A bunch of
Ryan Hart-
and Ryan,
I don't
and
want to
like
say names.
yeah, we ain't got
I think we do
fucking
some
Pollywog,
beeping on this shit. Some
Pollywog,
I forgot about that. He hated that shit. He's like, man, fuck Don, because he gave me that name. I ain't no motherfucking
They look
Pollywog.
like a battle toad. But fucking old Pollywog threw the brick. He wrote Creekside on a brick and threw it through this dude's window, and that's when we got labeled as a gang.
No, we had to make songs after that explaining like we're not a gang, dude.
Yeah.
We're not a gang. We're not a
Well,
gang.
we had to start talking to people and being like, look, dude, like, we love all y'all. I mean, there was like 20 plus people with Creekside tattoos. Like, it was all like a music thing. Like, we started as music. Like, we making music, and it was like hard to explain to people, like, everything you do, if you write Creekside on a brick and throw it through a window, like, that shit's you riding for the homies, but you're fucking the homies up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was real hard. Like, when we would be in like a club, and like some other rappers would be performing before us, and like would be like we already had beef with, and then the whole crowd's like Creekside, Creekside, like yelling over their stuff, and then all of a sudden like everybody's wanting to fight, and it's like, oh, like we it's hard when you got those fans that are that ride or die, and you're like, hell yeah.
And
we
then
Hey, we got one in the building. Foolish, what's up, man?
Oh yeah.
Foolish, what's up, man? How many
He's
shows
still,
you done doing
he's still
fighting up
kicking
in
it.
that thing?
Still kicking it, dog. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, people is getting like arrested, and what's happening when they get arrested? They're getting pictures of their Creekside tattoos, and like you're going to a club, and then people get in a fight, and everyone in the crowd that's fighting is like Creekside, and they're fighting and shit, and then you're like, before you know it, is like. The music gets diluted, and people don't like, clubs don't want to have you, or you got like this reputation behind you. You know what I mean? It was like when Boogie got upset with us because we were on stage performing, and he got into it with a bouncer, and like the bouncer started like
got hit with a flashlight.
Yeah, and started hitting with a flashlight and all this, and then the next day he's like, why didn't y'all help me? And like, dog, you want us to jump off stage and start fighting? And he was like, and like, hey, we can't.
And that was over some broad.
Yeah.
That was over a girl too, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
It was a little
yeah.
bit deeper than that.
Yeah, it was deeper, but it was still like.
But he's right. Like,
Come on,
I
like-
remember telling him that, dude, we supposed to just shut off the mic, shut off the music, all of us just come and help you, and you pretty much started that.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
he
know what I
definitely
mean?
did.
You started that.
He definitely did.
So it's like, nah, dude,
Nah, we can't do that.
I tell you, one of the speaking of like what you were saying about the people reacting to what we were doing, I'll never forget, like towards the end of me changing genres, you know what I mean, and that I remember going through YouTube looking at our videos, and I remember, you know how they got the mentions on the YouTubes and of different videos. I'll never forget it. Some young dude, some teenager dude, I mean he was young, man, you know what I mean, and he was wearing an over large white tee, you know, trying to play the part, and he was out there messing with his gun, you know what I mean, but he had sampled one of my songs and laid it over him freaking playing, you know how they do and everything like that. I'm like, dog, I don't realize how influential, you know what I mean, like what we're doing, you know what I mean, because and that's what bothered me towards the end a lot. Like, you can, like, I don't know how long y'all like dug into the music that we did back in the day and just go through the transformations, because if you go from the beginning to like the latest stuff that we did before everybody pretty much went and did their own, you can see a progression. You can see a progression in the lyrics. You can see a progression in the mixing and mastering. You can see the progression in the beats. You can see a progression in the themes. And it's like a year thing, and you can really tell. And towards the end of that, it was like it was getting to a point. All the stuff, the brick, the police, the you know, going out and shows and just getting hammered and all that other crap, and puking and all that other stuff, and just getting enemies and rivals and spending my own money to make enemies, you know what I mean, and not getting paid for it, you know what I mean. And once I seen that, dude, I was just like, man, I'm gonna be responsible for the words that come out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to be held responsible for somebody playing my song before you go do some dumb stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or playing my song while you're doing some dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Because I believe music is so influential on the subconscious and so influential on just the being of people, where it can change you like that. You know what I mean? That's why country music is so freaking big. You know what I mean? Because it plays off of emotions. You know what I mean? And that's when I just had enough of that type of mentality, and a lot of people couldn't understand me at the time. You know what I mean? When it did it, because you pretty much rode with me when we did it.
Yeah.
That was towards the end of you, because towards the end, you know, you had your loving family became an issue. You know what I mean? Because, you know, your woman wasn't having it. You know what I mean? And so you kind of ventured off, kind of during that time of what I'm talking about. And but Juice and Teardrop long ventured off before then, and that was just an easy move for me to make, but not a lot of move for people to understand.
Well, at the time,
you know
I remember you and I had a conversation on it, and it was in your front yard, and you was just like, it was coming. At the time when we had the conversation, it was coming. Like you said, the progression, like you could see our progression turning more. I don't want to sound weak, but I want to say like positive.
Right.
Like when the message became more deep. Than just some street shit. Right. And you was like, yo, I'm ready to make like the commitment to that. Right. Like I want to go deep and positive, and that's where I want to take the group. Right. And I was like, nah.
Yeah. You were like, I'm not ready, dude. You know what I mean?
It's nothing personal. It was just it just wasn't my journey. Right. And it was just like is what it. But I was still in the mix every now and again. Every blue moon. Right. I showed up to do something.
No, you did, because you were on the Apple Effect. When we did, that was the first Christian CD we did, and another person that did that before you, for same reasons pretty much, was Preem. Because Preem left around the time where we were getting labeled as a gang.
Preem left early.
Yeah. But around the time we were getting issued like as a gang, because I remember him coming to me and telling me that he was like, "Dude, I didn't sign up for this." Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not. I'm like, dude, we're not a gang. You know what I mean? I'm with you. But
it was hard to make but at the time before it was Creekside, the first name, it was
7-3.
When it was 7-3
At the
Productions,
beginning it was.
When it was 7-3 Productions, it was easy because remember you had to explain that to some people, and they were like, "What's the 7-3 thing?" And you were like, "It's it's on some other shit," and they were like, that doesn't market well.
Right. No, and it doesn't. It doesn't.
Well, it's the same thing. Like whenever I was younger, I used to get mad when I would like be riding in my car with the rims and the speakers and the gold grill in my mouth and like with drugs in my car. Like I'm doing everything to upplay this to be profiled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then when I get profiled, it's a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the same thing with music. It's like now, like I'm no idiot. And I grew up, I know. Like I choose to have dreads and tattoos and listen to what I listen to, dress how I dress. So whenever I walk through an airport and a cop stops me, which happens all the time, it's like, all right, you know, it still pisses me off because I'm like, if you knew me, you would know, like, I'm not bringing nothing in this airport, bro.
Right.
Period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, ever. I love my freedom. I love my family. Like, I'm not here to make all these crazy mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the law. I'm always going to follow the rules. But I at the same time, I'm old enough now, wise enough now, and like you said, we all got progressed to be older and wiser.
Right.
But I understand that, like, what I portray is what I portray.
Exactly.
And if I'm portraying in the music, like if I'm portraying being a gangster and I got guns and I smoke and what's the word? I ain't gonna think of it. But when you're like a womanizer, I womanize women, a misogynist, those type of things. Like if that's all you're promoting, then like what especially with music, like if I listen to somebody's music and I just gotta take your word for it, bro.
Exactly.
I don't know you.
Especially if that's
You know
all
what
I
I'm
know.
saying? Like it's way different. Like if we're sitting here talking man to man, and I can read you, and you could, like, if me and you are talking, and you're sitting here being like, man, there was this 6'5" dude, and I just knocked him clean out, and I'm the baddest guy on the planet. I could be like, this dude's full of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like me and you chilling.
Try that.
Well, I'm not. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say.
Please don't.
It's like
I'm just kidding.
if we're face to face, I can pick up on cues, and I can
Right.
I can be like, he might be a bad dude, he might not, but he's not. But if I'm listening to your music, it's like I'm just hearing what you're saying, and I have no real choice but to take you at your word for it. So if you're saying like, I like to smoke weed and drink and shoot guns, and like I got an AR in the trunk, you know what I'm saying? Or buck if you bout it. Like think of that song. Like, that song is like,
it was made for violence.
Yeah, it's all about violence.
Yeah, it was made for violence.
And if we're all being real, none of the rappers were violent.
Right.
None of us were fighting.
No.
None of us were doing pretty much
while rapping. Not while I was before rapping, but
but I'm saying like when we were Creekside, when we were rapping, we were doing music. Like that's what we were doing.
Yeah,
that's what we were
doing.
nerds.
Do
if you think about it, we're making music.
Yeah. Do you remember whenever we did it was at Hurricane Alley, and the guy who owned it, I forget his name, but the guy who owned it like pulled us to the side at the beginning and was like, "Yo, I want y'all to take no prisoners. I want y'all to go home. I want y'all to tear the roof off. I want you to do that." We was like, "Oh, don't worry. We gonna do all of that." We
like
gonna get two songs in. He grabbed the mic and was like, "Everybody, calm down." He was like, "Y'all can't be doing this shit." We're like, "Hold up now. We told you what we came to do."
But I tell you this one thing, man. Since we're on camera, I might as well just put it out on there. The biggest regret I had in the whole Creekside thing, and this is a big regret, was because, and the reason why this is a regret is because of the love that I have for all the people that supported us.
Yeah.
And all the people that were loyal to us and followed us from shows to shows and you know, made us who we were. Allowing Juice to make a diss track about Marcus and put it on our freaking CD.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest regrets that I had about that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because Marcus was a rider. He was a friend.
Yeah.
You know
Still
what I mean?
my dude.
Still
I
is.
talk to him
Yeah.
I talk to him once a week, man.
And I had no beef with Marcus at the time. I still don't. And Juice was just hot about that woman. And because Juice rode with me on all the other beefs that I was involved with and he wasn't, I felt obligated.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I felt obligated to at least allow him to release it. You know what I mean? Not be on it, not put it in bells on, but at least allow him to release it.
That's a decent regret. That's a
Yeah,
good regret.
You know
I
what
think
I mean?
Juice will regret that too if you talk to him.
And man, that's one song I wish we'd.
Well, that goes back to us being the young, immature, violent, thinking because at the time the rap game was kind of on that shit. You know what I'm saying? The rap game was aggressive.
Yeah.
It was like, and I think, well, for me personally, I could say at the time I had this mentality of why ain't I on? Why are other people being recognized over us?
Right.
When or even being selfish, why are other people being recognized over me?
Right.
So I'm going hard. Every song is gonna be on some. In the
I
beginning,
think we all felt like that.
In the beginning, it was like I'm the best, and here's why.
Right.
And y'all ain't shit, and here's why.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, what was really dope is once we progressed, like you talked about, when things got deep. Before the Apple effect, before the Vision thing, when it was just Volume 3, things got you could tell us progressing talent wise. You know what I'm saying? We all started learning oh, we don't have to be upset.
Right.
There's nothing to be mad about.
Right.
Let's just make music.
Right. And those were the good times. Those were
for sure.
Those were the good times.
But I mean, to pinpoint what you're talking about, it goes back into that dynamic of when they thought we were a gang, when they thought we were this. It's it was hard when we had a loyal fan base, and so loyal that everyone felt like they were. It was there was a very blurred line between the group and
the people that followed it.
Creekside.
Right.
There was no line. You know what I mean? There was 5 or 6 rappers in Creekside, but to everyone else, I had homeboys that, when Dusty joined Creekside, the people were upset about it. They thought I thought he was more Creekside than them. We grew up with it. There was a time where I was I wish I would have named this shit Creekside, because Creekside, because Creekside comes from me, Kenny, Ryan, Juice, me, Kenny, Juice, Jamie, Jeremy. There was this 4 or 5 kids that grew up in Clinton. All of us were in 4th, 5th grade. Me and Kenny came up with Creekside in 3rd or 4th grade. You know what I'm saying? And then Juice. And then it just spiraled. And so naturally, whenever we were 7, got with y'all 7-3, you were well, what are we gonna call it? And I was Creekside.
Yeah.
And then
and
it eventually turned into it was all Creekside.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that were part of Creekside before it was a group felt some type of way, they had some kind of say in it, and I wish I wouldn't have named it that. You know what I'm saying? But
it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
good.
it does, and it's dude that was here this week. He was he saw the posters over there, because we were taking pictures, and dude was Creekside, that's y'all. You know what I'm saying? I was yeah, that's us. He was what? You know what I'm saying? It still holds weight.
And I tell you,
15 years later,
and none of them events that we've been talking about would have happened had it not been for Kenny.
Yeah,
Kenny going to Fox Music, all of a sudden just had and it's dude, I want to rap, and I'm you're stupid. You're stupid. And he went and he bought the mixer, he bought the mic, he bought all that, man. I went to Fox Music with him, and he just started doing it. And then he started aggravating me to do it. And I didn't know how to do it.
What year was this?
Oh, gosh, dude. I don't remember.
We started in 2005.
Yeah, it was way before that, man. Because I was on Stall Road while me and Kenny were living. And
it was before 2005.
This dude, you think I was bad in the studio? This dude, when I first started, he used to write, and he was come on, man, do it. And I didn't care about doing it. I sucked. So I started doing it, and I thought it was good. I take it to him, man, check that out. He read it, man, that thing crap, man. I'm what?
Fucking editor-in-chief.
Do it again, you know what I mean? And I do it again. That's crap, you know what I mean? And yeah, he did it, and I don't know why I kept persevering, because I could have just been you know what, dude, I'm not a rapper, dude. I'm not doing this. But I kept with him, and he's the one that taught me how to rap. He's the one that showed me how to do it. He's the one that got me interested in the mixing and the mastering and all that. I learned all that stuff and just built off of it from him. Because then he went his way You know what I mean? And
he's such a smart dude. No, he is. He's a very
him
deep
and Preem are the
intellectual.
two smartest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I've met
No
some
doubt.
smart motherfuckers. And people would probably say I'm one of the smartest people they've met, but like,
No,
you know what I mean? I'd be like,
Kenny
yo,
was a super
they
talented man.
smart. You know what I mean?
He was a super.
I'm smart with, like, there's different kinds of smart.
yeah.
You know,
but
Kenny,
like I've told
but,
Kenny, he's smart, but you ain't got no dang common sense, Kenny. you could tell me about the psychological planes, man.
Well,
but what's going on with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love him, man, and I owe him
you
a
shouldn't have put out that
gratitude.
diss track either. He tried. I got you, Juice. I got you, son. He got his.
He had me in my feels, man. He had me in my feels.
Lightning in a bottle.
Nah, but I-
Send me on my way. Yeah,
Send me on my way.
And it's like the hardest
but
Dawn song
that was a
ever.
dope ass
dog. That
song,
song
bro.
is
Send me on
so
my
hard.
way.
But that's what I was gonna say. Like when we keep going on tangents, but I've always wanted to like let you know and pay homage to you. I'm sure I've told you in different ways, but you showed me to like you taught me so much, obviously, but the main thing that I really appreciate you taught me was like don't like explore and make the music you want to make. You know what I'm saying? Like you never was scared to try something. You know what I'm saying? And you were never scared to like you said, like when the music started going more like deep, it did, but it was with you. It was always there. Like
Yeah.
if you look to all the older stuff, like you've got like like way stuff back in Stall Road or College Park days, like Walking in the Rain. You know what I'm saying? Listen to Walking in the Rain, dog. Like Buck If You Bout It's on there and that, but there's also like Walking in the Rain. That song, like that ain't
Great song.
you know what I mean?
Great
Like
song.
these songs are like people don't make songs like that. You know what I'm saying? Like people don't think to make that type of impactful thing, and you were never scared of it. You always had like a Bible verse as an intro, or some like you introduced like taking movie clips and you know what I'm saying, stuff that like we weren't like we was just coming in, make some songs or whatever, but then like the album Deuces Wild, you know what I'm saying, like if you listen to the whole album, it's like it's got the whole theme of the Dark Knight in it, you know what I'm saying? So you got Heath Ledger talking in intros or outros. You've got Cheech and Chong on the intro, you know what I'm saying? You would go and grab like sound effects, like put gunshots or cars screeching tires, you know what I'm saying? Like back then people wasn't thinking like that, you know what I mean? And I definitely wasn't, but the deep songs, like you showed me how to like be myself, I guess, because before that I was just trying to be like so hard and just like all my shit had to just be like rah rah rah. I don't even like listen to the old stuff because I'm like
it's hard to listen to.
and there's a lot of it I like, but like the one you were talking about, loving you is wrong, like that song that's if we would have stuck in that vein, we would have went a lot farther, because what did they say, like you can attract flies with honey than shit,
more flies with honey than salt
than shit, and we was just putting shit out, you know what I'm saying?
Were, because the reason why I say it's hard to listen to, not the quality, but what we were saying. Because we were like, dude, I'll smash your brains in. You know what I mean? Like we were like as vulgar as we could be. That's what we were. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And on top of the crappy production. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know what I was doing at that time. Mm-hmm. But like I said, throughout the progression, which everybody that because I'm pretty sure people are gonna watch this. That's why I'm gonna put out this unreleased stuff. You know what I mean? And if they love Creekside, you know what I mean, and they love the I would say the middle of the Creekside progression. It wasn't because a lot of the old stuff we've already released. It's on Reverb /Creekside Productions. It's on Bandcamp /Creekside Productions. And I had to make 2 pages because we had over 1,000 songs, so only one page could be filled. So I had to make 2 pages. The other page is Creekside, but the K is flipped. It's the greater sign, the one that goes like that.
Yeah, the one
And-
whatever makes a K backwards.
yeah, and then the lowercase L, and then that'll say continued from the first page, and that's another 800 songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if they like that type, I'm gonna put that out, and I'm gonna also put out tracks that Schizo wasn't released on CD, H's that wasn't released on CD, Juices that wasn't, and Teardrops from what I have of Teardrop.
Yeah.
Because Teardrop really didn't put in that much work. When he did, it was fire. But like I said, that's one of the things that I wish they would have went the other way with Creekside now, because back in the day it was more of a headache. Like, man, come to the studio, Kenny, come on, Juice, and but now I wish we would have, because then it would have been so much more fulfilling. You know what I mean? Because you can't get that tone back, you can't get that feeling back, you can't get that character, that voice back, because all of us don't have the same voice we used to when we were laying down them tracks. You know what I mean? And we had some fire tracks. So if anybody wants to listen to them, I've made them all downloadable for free. Even Vision tracks, but you got to go to Bandcamp/Vision with a Z. And when we were Vision, we did 8 albums.
Yeah.
We did 8 albums with Vision. I think altogether, Creekside and the Vision, we put out 24 albums.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's not including the unreleased stuff that I'm gonna put out on the internet, because I'm just gonna put it on there like back in the day, a free throw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it out there, and then everybody that
Go
loves
through the
it,
cracks.
everybody loves it. Go download it for free. You know what I mean? And just enjoy it, because it ain't gonna be another one, because these are all unreleased tracks. You know what I mean? So this
my daughter came out, and me and my wife were sitting in the garage one day, and she came out and she was like, "Dad, I was on YouTube."
Yeah.
She was like,
Yeah.
"Who do you think you are? What is this? Is this Hoodlum my father?" I was like, "Hey,
St.
baby."
James is the one
That's
for
what
me,
she looked
dude.
at.
Yeah.
She was like,
gosh.
"What are you doing?"
I hate when
I wish
people
we would
say
have done that
though.
so much more different, dude. It's
Yeah.
like, gosh,
But at the
man.
time,
that's
we used
what
what we
that's what
had.
we were doing.
We used
Yeah.
what the resources
Yeah.
we had in our hands, and it was at the time people were talking about it.
Yeah, they were.
You look at it now, and it's
Well,
ridiculous.
cringy.
that's
It's
what I was
extremely
saying.
cringe,
Yeah,
though.
but that's
Especially
what
my
I'm
part,
saying.
dude.
Like
I was like,
the conflict, and like when the drugs talk videos, those videos,
never got released.
Tommy,
Tommy was dope.
when
those
the Drug Talks
videos.
never got released.
I never seen it.
It's not on YouTube.
It's not no more.
Nick never released it.
Oh, but I've seen that video.
Yeah,
but
it's
those few videos like were more what we should have been trying to do. But
You know
regardless,
another video
you know what
wish
my
we had?
biggest regret is,
What?
and I tell my wife this, but is what kind of what you're talking about. But my biggest regret is that we didn't save everything we ever
Yeah.
recorded, all the
Yeah.
projects
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like Rush kills me because he's got more stuff than I got. You know what I'm
Rush
saying?
has
He's
a
got
lot-
little
has a lot of love.
trinkets,
Yeah.
like he's got little flyers and like all these things that we did, and like all of us should have like kept everything. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because like right now, this studio, like I've got a few things, but you know how much things I could have. You
Oh,
know what I
yeah.
mean? And they're just things at the end of the day, and that's why like as artists we didn't keep it, because to us it's just things. It's just like, oh, it's just another flyer, it's just another show, it's just another this, or it's just another that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the end of the day, I wish I had all those things. I wish I could just like I wish I just had like a hard drive and was like everything I've ever recorded is on this thing. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
you still have any of your
Everything.
old like rhyme books?
I do here, but not like
I got like every one I've ever done.
yeah. Well,
Since
that
like
would
middle
yeah,
school, dog.
yeah.
I got a little part in my closet where I have like all my old shit.
bro,
And every now and again,
we-
I just
we
flip through the
couldn't-
pages. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, at 14, 15 years old, I had some ideas.
Well, we couldn't have that. We need a storage garage.
Yeah, dude.
Well, yo, dude,
Thousands of
dude.
songs.
So okay, I want to bring that up. How long we got? We still good. I wanted to
Whatever.
bring that.
Talk for
Whatever.
I wanted to bring that up because like it was weird. Like it was weird making music like as a group that we did, because I think we even said it on another interview with somebody else. It was like it's weird how it happens, because like the beat comes out, somebody will make a chorus and just divvy it out to
Divvy it
everybody,
out.
and everybody just goes to their corners and writes their song and come back, and it just became what it was.
Right.
But there was maybe 5 times where we've sat down together and wrote our verses together. I've never wrote a verse with you.
Yeah.
You were in a in the cut doing shit. But there was very few times where we sat down as a group and was like, this is the idea, this is the chorus, this is the verse. What do you think about this line or that line? Like, we pieced it together. The whole song pieced it together. And it worked out that way. I was always in admiration how y'all would put shit out like that. Like, y'all would sit down, the beat would play, maybe repeat 3 times, and y'all had y'all shit ready. I'm like, I'm going home. I'll see y'all Thursday.
Right.
And it's Thursday.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll have half of it ready. So
Right,
I come back later and I just get it done. I was always in admiration. Like, how the fuck do these guys just pump that shit out? Yeah. And I have to like disappear and get into a zone and a mode and all that shit and just do. And I think to this day, or I know to this day, that's why I'm not on as many songs as I was.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
for sure.
Because we addressed that back in the day. You wanted it to be perfect. That's what you told us.
I think that you benefited from the fact that, like, if you listen to, not that you haven't progressed, but if you listen to a schizo verse from 10 years ago and if you wrote a verse now, like, you always had it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you always had the cadence, the style, the vernacular. Like, I couldn't work on a fucking verse for a week because I needed to do 3 or 4 verses in a week to progress, because I had it, I had the writing and everything, like I had what I wanted to say, but you found your sound a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't find my sound until 2K15. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say, like, you can go back and find a lot of dope stuff before that.
Yeah. Because
I think you're selling yourself way short.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I think you're selling yourself way, no.
In my opinion.
No. Oh, okay, well, you're always your worst critic.
Yeah.
You're always
but
your worst critic.
2K15 was like when I figured out how I rap, how I write, like, my sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, before that, I had some, like, Loving You Is Wrong. That's before that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of songs before that where I got in a pocket and, like, I was like, okay, I'm good here. Right. But 2K15 was where I, like, really was like,
it was nasty. Yeah, 2K15 was nasty. Our first.
It's some of my best work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's
other
nasty.
than, like, about to put out, shameless plug, but soon we're going to put out, me and City did a album together and we're putting out City Water. And to me, that might be some of the best stuff I've ever done. Just because, like, I'm like, it might be the last shit I ever do because I'm old. Look at this.
You've been through the ringer.
But I've like really like solidified what I do, and like,
you're the last one remaining. Out of the Creekside, you're the last one. He's the last one.
No, Dusty Rose was a
No, I'm talking about original.
Yeah.
I'm talking about original Creekside. He's the out of the 5.
Trying to hold it down, man.
He's the last one.
So what's old Capo Teflon riding around? We got some Taylor Swift popping. Like, what's the thing that you pop that nobody else would know that you rocking to? Some Johnny Cash.
Everybody know I just rock that.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that you said that, the album, the unreleased stuff of mine that has y'all on it. But that's called Donnie Cash.
Donnie Cash.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's called Donnie Cash.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's called Donnie Cash.
Jeff hit the whoop whoop whoop.
Yeah. It's called Donnie Cash. So, but no, oh man, listening to stuff, man. To tell you the truth, dude, I listen to a lot of stuff of man. I mean, to me personally, dude, I listen to a lot of Christian music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because I'm not a real big music listener. You know what I mean? Because if you were to ride around with me at any part of the day while I'm going to work, I'm listening to talk radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm listening to talk radio.
So this to podcast.
You know what I mean? I can't stand the music of the day. I don't care what genre it is.
But there's an era that you're stuck in, right? Like, there's at least the nostalgic era.
Well, yeah. I mean, the '90s. Like, somebody like maybe NSYNC. You know what I mean?
Am I the only standing Backstreet Boys fan on this bitch, dog? Everybody goes in
some bangers. You know
what
I mean?
Was that? Lying in your arms.
That's
so close together. Didn't know
NSYNC.
just what
I tell you what else.
Drive myself crazy.
Yeah.
That song took me a while.
Myself crazy.
Yeah, about NSYNC. That's probably about
Hell
it.
yeah.
Dude, go
I
back
know
and listen, boy.
that's
Backstreet
dope.
Boys has some bangers too now.
Yeah,
I
they
told
did.
you on the
No,
last
PSP.
pod, man.
I heard
I'm a Backstreet Boy.
Dude, is this there's like 4 podcasts we talked about 90s boy bands. We
Hell
need to just
yeah.
have one interviewed.
We just need to start one.
Just start
Y'all
a
remember
band.
y'all's fucking song? Not to get back on.
Oh yeah.
How'd it
yeah,
go?
Yeah.
Dude,
All
that was
I
a
can
banger,
all I
dog.
can say
That was a banger,
is
dog.
Girl, I need you here.
Yeah, no, that was a banger.
Dude,
that was a banger.
Michael hated that song. He used to sing
Right
that shit
here.
around the shop. He used to be like, all I can say is Anthony is a queer. Likes it
You know
in
who's
the
on
rear.
that?
Me, you, and Kenny.
Kenny? That's one of Kenny's
All I can
unreleased
say,
ones. Yeah.
Girl, I need you.
Yeah.
So we're talking about rap. So I asked everybody, and I wanted to ask you, do you I know you. We know you as a Bone Thugs and Harmony fan, like an
Right.
early Bone Thugs and Harmony fan,
Right.
like we all are. I was a
And
big
Tupac.
and Tupac.
Yeah.
He'll
How-
show you Tupac songs you ain't even know. Like I learned that early with him because I thought I was a
I'm
Tupac fan.
I'm a big Bone Thugs and Harmony fan too.
Yeah.
Busy
Yeah.
Bone was the shit.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like when you were young, like
Right.
when you decided rap was your shit?
Right.
What was the song that you remembered all the words to young? Like the first substantial rap song.
Yeah, with a song not so much, but I remember Tupac being the one that sent me, because I don't remember listening to any rap music before. Because I guess How Do You Want It by Tupac.
Yeah.
Because that's the only song that pops in my head thinking that far back.
I think
you know
that's
what I
the
mean?
best song that's ever
'Cause
been said on here.
Other than that, like all KRS-One,
Knowing the
all them
words.
other dudes, like I didn't listen to them.
Yeah.
I was
No,
never
no,
listening-
me neither. My first big song was Big Papa by Notorious B.I.G.
by
94.
Notorious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like when I was young. That was like because were you a mirror rapper? Like you used to rap in the mirror and shit? when you were
No,
young?
no,
See,
no.
I was, and I remember that being like the song that I used to sit in the mirror.
Oh,
and
mirror
rap.
rapper, like when the back. Oh yeah.
Like rapping in the mirror type shit.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
you know-
glad
you know
you
what's
saved
funny?
him because that's like the sixth time you asked us and everybody's like,
Dude, you know what's
Yeah.
funny though? Is
Something wrong with you,
one of
dog.
our
What you looking
performances,
at?
dog. Dawn broke bad, dog. We was in the bathroom. We was getting ready to go on stage. I forget where we were, and Dawn just started rapping his verse in the mirror, and I was like, "Oh shit, we going, dog." And he just did the whole verse, and I rapped my whole verse. We just did our whole verse in the mirror together, dog. Like straight rehearsal in the bathroom,
Killing
and then they were like, "Creekside to the stage," and we was like, "Let's go, it's fucking go time, baby."
Hey, you remember? It was the last show that we did with Lawson. It was. I remember because this was the last time I got drunk. All right, it's because you remember they wouldn't let me drink when I came into the building, and I was like, "Dude, I'm literally performing, and you're giving me this crap." You know what I mean? And you're not gonna let me buy a drink. Nah, you ain't got no ID. So I go outside. I'm pissed off. Lawson's out there.
He had a bottle of
And
gin.
he had a bottle. And so he was like, "Here, drink." And so I'm drinking. It's not hitting me, so I'm drinking more and more. We get on stage. I think it was the performance, the first performance that Dusty
Dusty
came to.
Rhodes was there.
Yeah,
it was
Dusty
the night I
came
met
to.
Dusty Rhodes. It was in
Yeah.
Goose Creek.
yeah.
And so
It was the last performance with Juice.
we did all that. We did the show and everything like that. The next morning, right? The next morning, this dude over here, he's like, "Dog, you was so drunk last night that you handed me the mic and punched me in the face." he was like, you literally was like,
He was like,
put it on
it's your
around me.
verse now, dude. You was stacking and shit. I was like, whoa, what are we doing?
Slow down, dog.
There's pictures around in the world that Lawson dropped Don off in his driveway and Don's laid
Oh,
out.
dude, that was the worst night ever. That was the last night I ever drunk. I haven't drunk since then. Because I was
a long
that
time.
drunk, dude.
Yeah,
I thought I was
yeah.
gonna be done.
Well, I mean, shit, like, not to get too much into your history, but I remember we were in Myrtle Beach, dog, and
Yeah.
fucking a police officer walked in and was showing your
yeah.
picture around. Like,
Yeah.
is this guy, like
Like Wild West type.
Yeah.
girl.
An 8x10, dog.
Yeah.
Have you? Me and
Yeah.
Christina was sitting by the
Well,
bar.
the
Dude was
first,
like,
like,
"Have you
5
seen this
years,
guy?" I was like, "Nope." He's like,
never
"You
heard
ain't
of him."
seen him." I was like,
no. And then, he
Dude.
pulls out the other flyer with all of us on it.
he was like, "You don't know him?" I was like,
I never met
haven't
that
seen him."
guy. Like,
That's
somebody
Photoshop.
like this before Photoshop. Dog.
Yeah,
He was like, nah,
Ryan is the one that did that because I was at the bar when that happened and I had my back turned and Ryan Martin came up and he was like, "Dog, look, don't look up, put your drink down, walk to the side there and here looking for you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right," and I straight up did it, dude, and walked off and freaking put the seat in the back and drove home all the way there, dude.
Yeah.
But
We
they
used to-
but they used to chase me all around. You remember I had to run out the back of
Hurricane Alley.
Yeah.
They had a
That's
statue
it.
in
They
the
was
kitchen
looking
and
for
shit.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad those days are over, dude.
Me
hated
too. That
man.
shit
Well, I know
sucked.
we- I know
You
we-
wasn't even able to be a part of our first performance.
No, he
And
was
we've
on the
talked
run.
about
I was on the
before.
run for 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years.
I was on the run for 8 years. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, I was on the run for 8 years. But, you know,
Well, I was gonna say, like, not to detour, but you know, we done talked about Creekside and all the good times for this whole podcast.
right.
I think we would be serving a disjustice if I didn't ask you, like, what ultimately, all those things that we're talking about, what ultimately led you to Christ? Like, what was the tipping point? What was the pivot?
The tipping point in my life, or the tipping point in
However
changing
you want
music?
to, however you, not the music, nothing music related. Like the music is music's music, bro. Like you said, Lucifer was he was the prince of the music. So who cares about that? But,
Yeah. Dang. Man.
I just think like people would really benefit from hearing, like, especially felons, people that's been in and out of things, people that's tried to let their bravado be on their sleeve all the time, like coming from you, somebody that's like been on every side of this thing, like what got you to turn around? You know what I mean? It ain't even got to be like, what if you wanted to be about Christianity, that's fine, but just what got you to change your life, I guess, the pivotal moment.
The pivot, I would say the pivotal moment for me was found in the quiet times, because I always believed in God. I always believed in Jesus, because, you know, that's the way I was told to be, and this, that, and the third. And grandma used to take me to church, and that's this, that, and the third. But then I ended up doing all the bad stuff that I ended up doing. And when I got with y'all, I was no Christian. You know what I mean? And so I was playing two sides, man. You know what I mean? I was riding the fence, and eventually, dude, it just got to a point where I just felt so disgusted with myself, and I just kept asking him why, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And the answer I always got was, you know, you're gonna have to give me 100%, or I'm not gonna accept it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna accept 99 from you. I'm not gonna accept 95. You can continue to play games and I'll allow it. You know what I mean? But if you want what I have for you on this side, you got to come to this side, because I'm not going to that side to get you. You know what I mean? And so, and that's one of the main reasons, beside me seeing how wicked, you know, the music industry was, you know what I mean? And, or still is, even worse now. But, that's because, man, I love him more than I love my own life. I love him more than I love my own family. I love him, you know, unconditionally. And he's been with me when I was unlovable. He's been with me when I totally was disobedient and disregarded his commands towards my life. You know what I mean? And I knew better, but I just didn't want to. I didn't want to. And there's still times where I don't want to, because, you know, he's still steadily changing me and molding me and everything like that. And that's one of the reasons why I left the Vision as well. Because when we became Vision, you know what I mean, me and you, we set out, because I remember the day when we were going to Vision, it was already on my mind. It was already on my mind to do it. I had my mind made up. I just got done talking to Schizo. You know, the other band members weren't there. You know what I mean? So there was no sense in asking them. And then I came to you, man, and I was like, dude, I'm tell you the same thing I told Schizo, man. You know what I mean? And then I remember you telling me about the dream you had. You know what I mean? And when we were in the club and everything like that, and we were offered success if we go this way and stuff like that. And that just sent me over the top with the music part. And then we started doing Vision to bring the music towards that side. And then we ended up just speaking to people that already knew Christ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it was like, well, how can I lower myself? How can I be humble? And how can I not be proud when I'm putting my face on all these album covers? When I'm putting my face on all these posters? When I'm promoting me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a lot of beef. I have tons of beef with the Christian music for that very reason. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times I feel like Christian artists are just country artists or pop artists that didn't make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they figured now that if I go out here and sing about Christ, being I already have a voice, I'm going to sell records.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's why I don't listen to a lot of Christian music. Almost none.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I go to the old school people.
It's funny you say that because I feel that same way because it's like, you're preaching to the choir at some point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's very hard to get your music in front of ears that aren't. It goes both ways. Like you're always with music. You're always playing for your crowd,
Right.
and whether that's a bad crowd, good crowd, who it's not for me to say, but it's your crowd. And as a musician, like I'm always trying. Like I always like to, like, it's one thing for my homeboy to be like, yo, that verse is fire or whatever. Like, well, yeah, you supposed to say that, and I believe you because you be honest with me. If it was trash, you tell me it's trash.
Right.
But I'd much rather a stranger, somebody that doesn't like this, or like if one of my dad's friends who only listens to rock or this or that and hears one of my songs is like, yo, it touched me. I'm like,
Right.
that's good.
Right.
But if I'm doing like when we did vision stuff and it, like you said, like you're performing in churches or for youth groups or this or that, and you're like, well, I just perform for people who might know the gospel better than me. So what am I even doing?
Yeah, why am I doing
And
this?
and nobody like got saved off of my music.
That's what I'm saying.
Wasn't there what part of it is in the Bible where they came to Jesus and they were like, why are you sitting with them? Why aren't you eating with the high, like the high ranking officials of the church? Whatever. He was like, the fuck I gotta say to y'all?
Yeah.
He's like, these people need me.
Say it like that. But
But he said,
paraphrase.
but you're right.
Paraphrase.
You're right because the hardest part about it is, like you're saying, is like, I'm not Jesus.
Right.
So whenever you're a musician or if you're because people will be like, people will use the verbiage you're talking about where they'll be like, well, Jesus ate with sinners and prostitutes and this and that. And like, yeah, but that was Jesus.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's hard for me. If I go sit and eat with the drunkards and the alcoholics,
supposed to be in His image.
Yeah.
you are. But my point is like if I go sit with them and eat, I'm a partake with them. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I guess like if you're, for instance, if you're a gospel artist, like it's hard to go into a club with debauchery, fornication, all the sins that you've been rescued from. You know what I'm saying? You've been delivered from. So now you're a Christian artist because you say you used to be like that guy who was in the clubs drinking, smoking, doing all those things, and you quit that and you go start doing Christian music and you start going to churches and you start doing like that type of work and that type of music. Then as an artist, you're like, I need to go back to the club. You know what I'm saying? I need to go reach these people.
What makes it hard?
Because you're like,
The temptation,
and not only that, it's like, yeah, basically the temptation, but it's also like, you start to feel like, remember when I told you like, about my shoe sole? Yeah. You just let a little bit of dirt in. It's kind of like that. It's like, and in the Bible it says too, like, when you go into one of those spots, you dust your feet off. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, they can't be saved. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing I can say can, and I guess that's what it boils down to as an artist. Like for me, it's like I can't go there. There's nothing, because I was one of those people, and nothing you could say could save me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wasting my time there. But then if I go over here and I'm like performing for these people who are already saved,
still wasting your time.
then I'm still wasting my time. You know what I'm saying? And that's where like,
so what does one do?
You quit making music. You know what I'm saying? And like, but I don't know,
because
man.
for me, like
this could be a whole nother hour-long podcast just on this shit.
But you might make it a two-parter, huh? But the verse what you're talking about the tax collectors and the sinners, the two things are going to happen when Jesus does that, or a real Christian does that. All right, because that's what we're called to do. We're called to, and that's what we should have done. We should have did vision and went back to the same places where we were doing Creekside, so people could see the transformation. You know what I mean? People can't see the transformation if they're already transformed. You see what I'm saying? So, but we didn't do that. We went to Christians because that's where it's safe. You see what I'm saying?
That's where it was accepted.
That's where it is accepted. But what we should have done, to be Christ-like, we should have went back to where we began with. But on top of the people not wanting to receive it, we would have been rejected. Now, could we have handled that, being that we were loved for all these other years as Creekside? I don't know. But the two things are going to happen when Jesus goes and eats with sinners and tax collectors, as should Christians. And two things are going to happen. Either one, they're going to accept Jesus' message and they're going to turn from their sins. Or B, they're going to reject Jesus' message and walk away from Jesus. And that's why he goes into the places with the tax collectors and the sinners, to give them a chance. Because like he says, I haven't come for those that are well and healthy. Mm-hmm. I've come for the sick. And the only place you're going to find the sick is the places that we were at when we were sick, spiritually. You know what I mean? And so, and that's what it is about the tax collectors and the sinners. And that's what we should have done, but we didn't. And we went to the churches, and it ended up just drawing the energy away from us, because like he just said, it felt like we were getting to a point where, why are we doing this? You know what I mean? Like, why are we doing this? And I can't speak for him, but for me, I started feeling like the whole thing of, I'm not elevating Christ if I'm elevating myself.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Touche.
And so, but and I'm glad we did Vision, and I listen to the tracks every now and then, and I love the music. We did some hard Vision tracks, and there's been tons of people that's come up to me and been like, dude, that Christian music there is fire. You know what I mean? And those that love, I'm glad we made it for that reason, because there are Christians out there that don't have sick lyricists. You see what I'm saying? They don't have hard hitting beats, like we do. What we did for Creekside, we did for Vision.
Yeah.
We did for Vision.
You just transfer the energy over to that.
We did for Vision. You know what I mean? And so that's along the lines. In the middle of Vision was the Santi era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Santi era, and which was pretty cool. But he did his own thing and decided to do his own route. But I'm very thankful, man. I'm very thankful for the times that we had and the experiences that I got to have with y'all too. Because I remember meeting y'all. Y'all were mad at Juice.
Yeah.
Y'all were mad at Juice.
Dude, we can go for 2 hours on this shit. The reason we came around was because, like he said, Creekside. The Creekside, like, name, brand, all that shit started. He even mentioned in a song, like, we was on the couch talking about East Side, West Side shit. Fuck that Creekside, bitch. But that was y'all, you, Juice, Preem, Kenny, Jenny, like your people on y'all side. And whenever we found out, because we was working together at the time, we found out like Juice and Preem was doing some rap shit. Yeah. And we was like, whoa. Yeah. Especially Michael. Michael was like, whoa. I'm the rapper. What the boy doing?
Yeah, I remember y'all saying that.
So me and Michael was like the ones rapping at parties.
Yeah.
Them boys was rapping like at your house.
Right.
In the booth and shit. Right. We was like, well, they know we the rappers.
Right.
So man, fuck them boys. Yeah. Not like fuck them for life, but man, what the fuck?
Yeah,
man?
y'all were mad at us.
Let's go ahead. But no, that was very short lived, because it turned into like Juice was being like, no. We know, dude, but them boys is the rappers.
Yeah.
And put
that's
us
what
on.
He said. That's what he always told me.
And he put us on. So I love that dude, man.
Like you said, we could go for hours.
We could go for hours. It was such a good time, man.
Everything, dude. But amongst all, man, the OG.
There he is.
Capo, Teflon the Don, Che, the foreman. All of those things, formerly known as Donnie Cash.
Yep.
That's what we call him now. From now until forever, man. Creekside OG. If y'all know, then y'all know. If you don't know, there ain't no way you don't know.
It's a damn shame you don't.
Shout out my co-host, Cousin Sal, Schizo,
right.
Teflon the Don, Donnie Cash, Waterboy. Like I always say, think harder, work smarter. If you want it to grow, just add water. It's the Water Pod. Peace.
We out.
It's been over 10 years. I've been loving it. Got more, but I'd rather have less than. Less than in the middle, less western. Testing, but I never did besting. Besting in the brain, confessing. Lesson, do the deed, no lesson. No lesson, people straight flexing. Trying their best just to make impressions. Not with your looks, but with lots of weapons. Reppin', never know squat down, steppin'. Step when it look cool. Pressed in with the old mess when they make moves and they go and get food. Come on. Homie know me, I'ma tell ya. Ain't a person here really in a good mood. My pain is here in this atmosphere. There's only one who I gotta pay dues to. If I really gotta tell him I ain't doing it right, I ain't nothing like you. No, never enlightened me. Top 3, yeah, whatever you like. I got this practice, get right tonight. I've been through 14, you barely got 3. Barely got CD, barely got beat. Barely got mic Mic skills barely be seen. I can keep going, but that's the whole routine. Like, what's up now, old same lame scene? Straight nonsense, what the you mean? How the hell to get through? Where's the screen? They rap for the team. Never seen a punchline since they was teens. Chillin' at the school dance, high water jeans. See a word as it seems, not facades in a dream. My pencil holding all emotion in the letter road. The ink encasing War and Peace on the music note. And my guitar cries very slow. Right out your stereo, right out your stereo. My pencil holding all emotion in the letter road. The ink encasing War and Peace on the music note. And my guitar cries very slow. Right out your stereo, right out your stereo.
Okay, it's the poet. You got the drink, then pour it. He going forward, like straight for your forehead. Walk with a limp like he bow leg, but smooth, slick, sliding like he bowling. Ride the beat like he stole it. We let you hold it. You tried to keep it like a secret, but we raw, you pinkish. We balls, kiss the rings on the pinkies. It's ours, relinquish it. Jump off that sinking shit, cause Creekside bad, and we sinking shit. Is this sinking in? You think you bad, homie? Think again. We been to the brink and back. It's only right that we bring it back. You talk about the things you barely know, like how you have Pillsbury though, acres of land where the Mary grow. Round and round on the merry-go. Saving this game gon' take a miracle. Luckily rare is my stereotype. Don't stare at me, stare at your life. It's the end of the line, I slap your typewriters, pulling strings like kite flyers.
My pencil holding all emotion in the letter road. The ink encasing War and Peace on the music note. And my guitar cries very slow. Right out your stereo, right out your stereo. My pencil holding all emotion in the letter road. The ink encasing War and Peace on the music note. And my guitar cries very slow. Right out your stereo, right out your stereo. See the difference between me and you? You a silly little rapper. I'm an artist. I take pride in my work. I take pride in what I say and how I portray. You like attention, you know I gotta come through. No shortcuts, no handouts. No wait for you and I pan out. No pleading big to some smart mouth. They don't know a thing about hard work, never in their life had a torn shirt. So after prayers I go well aware that my affairs don't quit. So I walk the road equipped, but that don't mean that I don't watch pits. These hoes gonna pop up quick, so I move and groove with the baseline dip. Plus I move like luchador buzz kick, but boy I'm a little bit taller. You sick but I'm a little bit rawer. I spit a little more than they can swallow. So where's tomorrow? Tell them I'm ready, cause today is a wrap. I woke up tossing confetti and celebrating life the way you do when you live, with a purpose for steps, then teaching that to your kids. My pencil holding all emotion in the letter road. The ink encasing War and Peace on the music note. And my guitar cries very slow. Right out your stereo, right out your stereo. My pencil holding all emotion in the letter road. The ink encasing War and Peace on the music note. And my guitar cries very slow. Right out your stereo, right out your stereo. Yeah, it's like I said before. Take pride in what you do, cause if you don't, turn out just like everybody else. Bunch of clowns on stage, waiting for applause, but inside they empty. They empty.